Alright, hey guys, this is Amoeba, and I'm making this video to kind of work as a guide for speedrunning Pokemon Pinball. It's not quite a guide, it's not something that you can write notes out for, but I'm hoping with this video I can try and explain some of the different strats I use for running the game. I'm actually playing on console at the moment, which is why you've got the weird border either side. Yeah. I'm not going to explain basic game mechanics, so things like the slots, how to get the slots, how to get bonuses, etc. I'm not going to run through that because that's basic knowledge. You can play the game for a couple of hours and find that out. What I'm going to do is show you a few different tricks and a few different things I do, just to try and help out while you're running the game. So we'll start with Sapphire Field for now. There's an immediate one for this, is when you first fire the ball out of the spoink, I guess, you can time a tilt as it's going round the first section so that you can easily activate two slot buttons at the same time. What you do is the ball will go up here, it will spin round the hatch podium once. Just as it comes out of the hatch podium after spinning around, if you tilt up, it's B on my controller, I think it's tilt up, you'll slow the ball slightly, but then you can just hold the right bumper and you'll get two slots. So I'll show you this now. So tilt there and hold the right bumper, you get one and you get two, like that. And it sets up quite nicely as well because hatch is obviously ready at the start of the game, so as you roll back down you tilt right to jump over the bumpers, which is a pretty standard one. So if you're not familiar with this, you can just left tilt and right tilt across the hole between the bumpers without ever using the bumpers. So yeah, when it rolls down you just right tilt up to here, and then you're set up for a good shot on catch, which is the Wailmer just off screen, above and right us. So for the first shot I'll show you is the Wailmer shot. Basically aim for about halfway down the left hand bumper. So I go for here, and that's it. Pause this here just a second to explain. But every time you hit the Wailmer, the shot that it fires you out at is exactly the same. And again, if you hold the left bumper up, you'll get two more free shots at the slots. So if I hold left bumper now, there's one, and there's two. So you can actually fill up a slot basically off the first two shots of the game. Right, so from here, next one I want to show you is when you've got the catch-em going. Now, because the first slot, the one that we've activated that will be ready to go after the catch-em minigame, is one we just want to burn. We don't necessarily need Zigzagoon, which is the guy on your right. Obviously he helps to stop on specific ones. We don't necessarily need him for this one, we can just let it roll through, but it's faster to have Zigzagoon because you can just mash A and get the very first slot bonus rather than waiting for it to spin all the way through. Conveniently, if you go from the left bumper like this and aim for the Zigzagoon button... Oh, I missed. Oh, don't do that. Oh well, I can still show you. We're actually going to switch it off now, but it still works if you need to switch it on. Oh, I missed again. Wow, cool. It takes you up to the bumpers. Now, if you're unlucky, you'll get the bounce that I just got, where it just fires you back out again and you only hit one bumper. I'll try and show you the good one you can get. So this is the good one. You can left tilt from here and hit the bumper infinitely. Well, not infinitely, but you can hit enough that you only need to hit it 3 times. No big secret to catching them, just aim at them. So I'm not going to show you a full run. But I'll probably just stop at the Kyogre bonus because that'll be the last one where I explain some things. So for getting the slots quite easily, you can either hit the travel button on the left, like this. That rolls you up here and you roll straight in. That's nearly always guaranteed. It's very difficult to miss the slots from that. Obviously you want to avoid activating travel though. If you get all 3 C dots, that's a huge waste of time. So the other option is you let the ball roll down the bumper slightly further, and you're off the, what do you call these? What are these called? Paddles. That's what I'll call them. I don't know what they're actually called. You let it roll down the paddle a bit further, and you'll clip the left-hand green bumper. I'll try and show you this now, but obviously there's no slot for it to roll into. It's like that. That would have put you in the slot. So yeah, rolling around the sides like this is just, that was really good. That wasn't necessarily intentional. It's just a familiarity thing. You get used to feeling where you need to aim for when you go around these. There's no point in me slowing it down and trying to show you specifically where to aim for. Not the easiest thing in the world. I hit travel. Cool game. But yeah. So I'm probably going to skip ahead now. There's not much more to show you at the moment. The one other thing I'll try and show you is the Kyogre bonus. So I'm probably going to skip ahead now and I'll see you at the Kyogre bonus. Alright. Welcome back. So this is the Kyogre bonus. A few details to note that you might not know about. Technically a mechanic of the game, but I'll explain it anyway because most people don't know it, and I didn't know it for a while. If you get stuck in a whirlpool, in one of Kyogre's whirlpools, you can mash the paddle buttons and it will drop you out faster. I missed a bit. Should have explained at the beginning. When you first start, when the ball spawns, if you let it roll, if you hold the right paddle up and let the ball roll onto it, and when it rolls, basically comes to its stop at the apex of the roll. If you hit the paddle, then you'll time it perfectly to interrupt Kyogre's freezing move. So I'll show you for an example now. If I don't mash any buttons here, this is how long it takes to get out of the whirlpool. So I mean that actually ran out. It would have taken longer. The whirlpool automatically despawns when Kyogre does its first dive. But yeah, mashing the paddles is a lot faster. That was a really quick one. I was hoping to show you how much faster it was, but you'll have to take my word on that. It is faster if you mash the paddles. Right. And the one final thing I want to show you is you'll find yourself being shot out of this either when you do a slot machine or you come back from a bonus or a Evo. The only one that doesn't work is catch. It's a slightly different one, but all the others shoot you out from this hole in the same way. You want to get used to holding the right paddle when you get shot out of here, and learning how to tilt straight afterwards so that you activate the slots, because there's 2 big sections of the game, Kyogre 2 and Kyogre 4, Kyogre 1 and Kyogre 2. Kyogre 2 especially use this a ton. And the faster you do this, the faster you learn this and the faster you do this, it shaves minutes off your run, the quicker you can do this. I only use up tilt for this. And it's not a case of mashing it, it's more of a rhythm to get the tilts to work. I imagine you can use left tilt and right tilt, but obviously you need to kind of go up and they don't send you up as much. So I'm talking about it a lot. I'll have to show you this quite quickly, but you'll just have to, it's something you just got to get a feel for yourself. I'll show you how I do it, but if you want to learn how to do this, you've just got to get a feel for it yourself. So hold the paddle up, and from here start mashing your up tilts like that. And you've just got to spin. See, sometimes it rolls out, sometimes you don't get the timing right. You just have to get enough speed and hope you roll back into the slots again. I haven't found a reliable way to get back in, so like at the moment I'm just firing it around in the hopes that it goes back into the slot area. Haven't found a reliable shot that gets you back into there. The most consistent is firing it around the outer ring, so like your Evo or your catch activators, so firing it around here. You tend to be able to go in there like that, but sometimes it doesn't. So again, you've got to tilt it up. But yeah, that's the big skill for this category, is being able to activate the slot fast, like that. It's not as big a deal in Ruby. In fact, the standard route doesn't use slots at all. If you go for the RNG heavier route, it does use slots, but not as many. So it's the big skill for the Sapphire field, is getting that down quickly. And like I say, it's not a mash. You're not mashing the tilt. You've got to do it with a rhythm, and it's just familiarity, learning the rhythm. Yeah, I think that will do for Sapphire field. There's a few I know in Ruby field that I can show you. Oops. It's basically the same thing. Again, I won't do a full run of Ruby. In fact, I won't even go to Groudon. Groudon's fairly self-explanatory. You just have to do the fight as intended. Again, there's the fireball attack that Groudon does that catches your ball and sticks it in midair. Again, if you mash the paddle buttons for that, you'll get released from that quicker. But that one seems quite obvious, because when you actually hit the paddles, the fire seems to dissipate a bit, whereas the whirlpool one, you don't notice. There's no like visual representation that you're doing anything, so people tend to know it with the Groudon one but not the Kyogre one. I'm just going to let the ball roll out a second, because there is a shot you can do again off the start shot in this map. It's not for the slots this time, but it's actually to get the catch 'em. When you fire it off this point, just hold the right paddle up like this and wait for it to sit there at the apex. Now I missed it slightly. It's not as easy as the other one, but you wait for it to come to a stop at the apex of the paddle, and then you tap the right paddle button, and it should fire you into the catch slot. I missed it slightly there, but you've got a representation of how it's done. That's quite a difficult timing. Getting shot from the Sharpedo, you can just hit it straight to the bumpers, but that's quite difficult. The timing's awkward. But yeah, otherwise, catch 'em works basically the same way. It's very useful on this map to have the Maka hitter activated, but it's also very easy to deactivate it as well. I want to show you. Obviously, like I said earlier, the slots don't necessarily feature as heavily in this field, but obviously you still need to go into the slot hole for the bonuses, and occasionally you will activate a slot. The consistent way to do that is aim for the Chikorita button, just like that. Oh wow, okay. That one didn't actually work. I've never seen that happen. Never had that not work. That's not worked 3 times in a row. That's incredible. There we are. So normally you can bounce off some of the scenery around as well, and it still goes in. I was kind of bad, and I got unlucky there. But most of this, if you aim for the Chikorita button, 95% of the time it will go in. But obviously that also activates the Linoons. So really, there's not much else to talk about on this map. I'll try and activate the Maka hitter. There's a couple of things you can actually do with Maka hitter that's quite useful. Obviously he fires with the right paddle. Typically when you use him, it fires you up this ramp like that. That doesn't particularly get much use, apart from if there's like an experience item, or well, basically an Evo item up that ramp, which occasionally there are, but it's rare. The one other thing you can do with him is if you hit the ball really late, well, missed. It's like that. It fires up this ramp, Again, only really useful if the Evo item's there, but it is useful. But really that's it. The only other point I could think of making is that hatch is actually viable in this field. In Sapphire it takes too long to activate and the cutscenes are really long. But hatch is actually quite useful in this. Or it's quite quick. If you're good enough at getting it in to the hatch slot quickly, it's actually faster than catching mode. It's also safer because barring like one Pokemon, which I think is Chimecho, every hatch Pokemon is evolvable. Whereas your catching Pokemon have quite a few unevolvables. So, but for me, the shot to hatch is a bit awkward. It's a bit finicky. But if you can get consistent at it, it's well worth doing. But yeah, that'll be the end of this guide for now, really. I haven't gone into loads of detail, but it's a bit difficult to explain. It's something you just do and you learn. But hopefully this is useful if you fancy running the game. If you have any other questions, or you want me to make a guide for anything else, because obviously I haven't covered like the Rayquaza fight or anything like that here, just let me know. Either comment it on this video, message me, Twitter me, whatever you want. But yeah, move around.